Well, hello, I'm Ashley Berner. I'm the Deputy Director of the CUNY Institute for Education Policy, which was founded by David Steiner, Hunter College's Dean for the School of Education. Joining me today is John Rose, the Dean of Diversity and Compliance at Hunter College. Thank you so much, Dean Rose, for being here with us at the start of a busy semester.
You're welcome.
Taking the time.
I'm delighted to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you run with students?
Sure. The program is part of the CUNY citywide Black Male Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
On our campus is known as Brothers for Excellence. It is targeted to Black and Hispanic men, but open to all students. And in fact, we do have participation from among all ethnicities and both genders in the program. The program is designed to create opportunities to generate educational and career options for our students and to expose them to a wide array of potential careers, potential graduate school opportunities. We do that through a series of integrated and developmentally appropriate programs. They include structured mentoring, intrusive advising, topical discussions, peer-led groups, and both on-campus extracurricular activities and off-campus service activities.
And how many students are involved in a typical semester?
So we have generally, we're doing this now, at least I've been doing it now for 8 years, and generally there are 70 to 80 students who participate. Last year it was 79. Mm-hmm. Well, most of the students in the program are first-time college graduates, mm-hmm. and the peer leaders are, for the most part, very similar. They are first-time college for their families. They have managed to overcome a lot of challenges, but there are a lot of strategies to deal with these challenges, and that's what our community is about. It's about serving up options for students to manage the barriers that they face. There are a lot of students who've had family and other difficulties, but let me talk about a student who is one of my favorites in the sense that while very, very bright, this student absolutely was reluctant to ask questions, reluctant to talk about himself. And so we talked in one of our topical sessions about the importance of self-branding. And your brand really is your reputation. And letting people know who you are and what you stand for. And this one student, the light finally went on. He started to ask more questions. He talked about his areas of interest, which were fairly diverse. We were able to put him in contact with both professionals in the marketing communication sides and faculty on the science side, mm-hmm. where he could explore his interest a little bit more deeply. He ultimately decided that science was his true abiding passion. He got involved in some pipeline programs, summer research programs, ultimately graduated from here and is now at University of California, San Francisco, pursuing a PhD in bioengineering. We try to establish a safe space mm-hmm. for kids to be smart. We want excellence to reflect the total contribution that the student makes.
And it sounds like many of your programs are really geared around the creation of social capital.
Oh, very much so. I mean, so I mentioned that many of our students are first generation, so they are mostly from families that are not terribly sophisticated and knowledgeable about the ways of the world. We also do a lot of exercises on networking.
So tell us about that. Give us some examples.
Well, elevator talks are very important. So, you have, it's important to be able to solidify what it is you're about, what your interests are, what you want in a snippet of conversation so that you could tell somebody in the elevator mm-hmm. Who you are and what you're about. The more student-centered it is and the greater voice we give to our students, the more we let them speak, scaffolded around mm-hmm. programs or concepts or ideas, but the more they actually speak, the better the program is, the deeper the commitments are, the stronger the community is. How do you develop a faculty relationship? So is it about asking questions in class, seeking clarifications in office hours, writing about your interest in a particular subject, seeking to get additional authors or manuscripts on that particular subject. Just multiple ways of identifying that you are there, you are interested, and that you want to develop a more intimate relationship.
So a lot of what you're talking about is building up academic confidence and academic capacities. So can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. So again, we hope that academic achievement is a byproduct of all of the activities that we do. And we do celebrate, as I mentioned, students who do very well academically. Sometimes we have students who do well academically actually talk about how they managed it, what they did, what their techniques were, how they studied, how they interacted with other students, the amount of time that they spent on it.
Well, one of the things that you're talking about is really engaging the whole college community in this project of assuming responsibility and making college completion not just getting through college, but preparation for the rest of life. One of the responsibilities of the college community. So how do you go about that leadership in a college system?
When you have interest from the very top
Right.
in the success of the program, it makes it easier. We've had faculty involvement, and I think whenever the faculty get to know our students, particularly our better students, it becomes organic. It's really easy. Those who have worked with our students are looking for more.
So how large could you go with your program? If wish list, 5 years from now, how many students do you think you could really accommodate?
The reality is, I do think that we've been at a good place. I think we can grow a little larger without a loss of intimacy, but intimacy is really important, and I think that's what helps create the community and drive the program.
So this is a way to kind of nourish the city of New York.
I think so. I mean, we think our students are pretty remarkable, and we know in time that they'll be here to serve their respective communities in the city itself.
Why is this even on our radar? What's really at stake here?
Well, I think that the college completion gap raises a bunch of issues, not only social justice, but more our sort of global competitiveness. So we're faced now with a talent shortage because our country, which used to be the leading producer of college graduates, is lagging far behind both European and other Asian countries. And so if we are not graduating enough students to meet our current needs for knowledge workers, given the demographics of our country, with students of color becoming the majority of students in the near future, unless we start addressing this gap, we're going to fall further behind.
If you were talking to college administrators who were contemplating a program such as the one that you run, what's some advice that you'd give them up front?
Start small. You can't, if you start large, it'll dissipate. So you've got to start small. You've got to get a core of people who are involved and who believe in the program. You've got to get leadership in the program that is generationally relevant to the students that you're dealing with. It's got to be student-driven and student-centered. One of the challenges, I think, for us in the beginning was that we weren't sure from year to year whether our BMI program would be funded by the city council.
Right.
And so
that long-term commitment matters.
Right, it certainly does. We're now baselined in the city budget so that there's an expectation that we will be around for the long haul, and that makes all the difference in the world.
If you were talking to some of your students before they came to Hunter College, and they're in high school, maybe they're not confident that they could make it in college, or maybe they think they'd like to try, but they're not sure. what would you say to them?
Well, since we're at Roosevelt House, I think what I'd say to them is an updated version of what Franklin Delano Roosevelt famously said at the inception of World War II. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. So that's a way of saying that, you know, you have nothing to lose, that even failure is an opportunity to learn something about yourself. So shoot for that college because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose.